personally, like, even when we were going through the event yesterday, I kind of went home and told myself, okay, let me prepare words that I think would fit like my bias of what I thought. But like as I got on stage, I wanted just to give like a natural answer. And I think through this exercise, I think I revealed my own like unconscious biases about just the words and like the connections that they have like in my head, just by the first word that...
Sometimes very conscious, but it's high time we try to deconstruct them and try to be more approachable and come near. And I like that the fact that Gyoko talked about relationships, connections, because a lot of people have done these activities with many people and they talk of women as, you know, all the things that you may think. But here, I think we are a very pluralistic world and a very pluralistic audience, because invite someone, just so as we now focus on the future of education. I like what we've been doing from Tuesday, and it will be time for us to take stock of all that and look at what's the future for us. How does the future look for us? And at this point, I want to invite Pamela Gordon, who is the Deputy Head of Cooperation, the Kenya High Commission. Welcome.
Morning, everyone. It's a pretty hard act to follow, I think. You'll soon find out that I'm not a teacher. Thanks, Aisha. And to the volunteers as well. I think they've put in a lot of hours this week, so maybe one more hand to the volunteers. It's also great to see a full house on the final day. Thank you. I know some of you were probably here quite late last night. It was a lot of fun. Don't worry, there's coffee in about an hour in case you're needing it. But it's a real privilege to be here with you and to open this final day. I'll take Aisha's words. I'm the last, but I'm not the least opener. And the discussions and panels, I haven't been able to be here for the full 2 days, but the ones I've come to have just reminded me how invigorating it is to be with teachers and to learn from teachers, and that's why we're here. My mother's actually a retired primary school teacher, so I've really benefited from her, and now she's in her 70s, and when I watch her interact with my young, energetic children, and she brings the same energy and creativity and calm when she interacts with them, I'm humbled. I'm not sure I can, be the teacher and the parent that she was to me, but I do understand why my kids prefer her house to mine. So I just wanted to say quickly about last night. I think one thing that struck me was that teachers don't tire of teaching. I think some of the presenters must have said the same thing about 50 times, but you sounded just as enthusiastic as you did the first time. And so for me, it was that reminder of how much effort goes into teaching, how much you adapt to the different, the needs, the languages, the abilities of your different learners. And we are all very different learners in this room, and we were last night. I know I asked some questions that someone else would have rolled their eyes at, but you calmly explained what you were doing and why it was important. And you had a very loud and noisy classroom. So hats off to those of you who presented last night. So we're in the final day of this wonderful week-long event, and a lot has been said already about why we're here and the priorities that we share. I think I've learned there's some really brilliant minds in this room, and that we all bring something different to the table. I'm not an educationist, I'm not a specialist, but we all bring something different to the table, whether it's policy or research or funding or expertise or hours in the classroom. And we do it for different reasons, but if we look at the big picture, we also do it because 250 million kids are out of school around the world. 7 million of those are refugees. Girls in conflict-affected countries are twice as likely to be out of school than their male counterparts. And I'm told 47% of learners with disabilities are likely to be out of school. So that's powerful in itself. And if that wasn't enough, these learning gaps are worsened by a growing skills gap, with a growing youth population, especially in Africa, that's struggling to access jobs and opportunities. But we're here, and inspired by our patient and persistent teachers, we bring what we can to the table, and we continue to find ways to reach those who need it most. It's been said already in last night, but we all know that education is foundational, and I was looking at this SDG wheel, and I feel like we could redesign it where education is just the whole circle. It really forwards all of the SDGs, whether it's peace and security, economic development, women's empowerment, I mean, all of them. And on behalf of the Government of Canada, it's been a priority for Canada for a very long time. We are in Kenya, and I can't say it goes back to 1905 when I believe the Aga Khan started their first school, or was 1910, very early on. Ours goes back about 60 years, when just down the street, actually, our Prime Minister in the 70s, Joe Clark, opened the Kenya School for TVET, and we've been quite strong in TVET in Kenya ever since, and globally. But most of our education partnerships are in sub-Saharan Africa. I think 7 out of 10 of our sort of top partner countries are on the continent. Our main areas are in primary education, education policy and management, teacher training, and TVET. And like many of you, we focus on education for girls with learners who are refugees and those who are displaced or in conflict-affected countries. And we can't do this or have any impact without our partners. I think for all of us, and maybe more so than ever, this is our only way forward to forge stronger and more diverse partnerships. And Schools 2030, for me anyway, embodies that perfect space to strengthen the partnerships we have, to explore new ones. Canada collaborates with partners on different levels. On the multilateral level, we're a close ally with ECW and GPE. We have partnerships with expert Canadian NGOs like the World University Service of Canada and Colleges and Institutes of Canada, and of course private sector, and maybe most importantly, country governments. But as our High Commissioner, for those of you who were here last night, mentioned, one of Canada's strongest partnerships and longest standing is actually with the hardworking and visionary hosts of the event this week, the Aga Khan Development Network. So this partnership has spanned decades in many countries, and it's grounded in common, to enable the translation of local ideas and teacher-led innovation into national and global public goods for education. And all these efforts and all these partnerships and all these investments come back to teachers. So this week, you're the center of our conversation, as it should be, and you must continue to be our partners of choice. I love that phrase. You're the first responders when it comes to a crisis, but you are also the long-term architects when it comes to resilient systems. And you understand the realities of the classroom and your learners and what they need and what will work. So I think this week we're seeing that evidence in action and what's possible when you as teachers are researchers, are designers, and are leaders, and given the space to do what you do best. When I was little, I did not walk 8 kilometers to school. I did not sell eggs, for those who were here on the first day. And if I'd walked barefoot, I would have lost all my toes to frostbite. But like many of you have mentioned, I do have memorable teachers. I won't go through the list because I've been very privileged and it's very long. But being from Canada, one was also a retired ice hockey player. But the ones I remember most were just the ones who thought differently, who let us take that class outside under a tree for no reason except that it was different and fun, and who encouraged 10, 11-year-olds to write a letter to their MP. I remember I wrote one about plastics and why McDonald's used all this plastic. And yeah, despite spelling mistakes, it made its way to the right people. But I think that the best ones were also the ones who just taught without me realizing that I was actually learning. For me, that's the top sign of a wonderful teacher. So yeah, as we enjoy the final day, let's celebrate you, the teachers, let's celebrate our partnerships, see if we can build a few more. But I think let's also look towards 2030 with realism, with clear eyes. We are in a changed world, especially since January. And it's tough, and it's getting tougher. And I think more than ever, we need the grassroots leaders. And we need you you are the sustainable only choice, I think, going forward. We can be creative, we can find new ways to partner, but you are always there, and you will move us forward. So, yeah, you're the only ones who will get the kids who are not in school back into school, keep the ones there who are maybe on the fence, and energize those who will be leading all of us in the next few decades and shaping those minds. So just wishing you a great day. Thanks for having me. And yeah, all the best. Thanks.
I can assure you, I'm a teacher standing here, but representing many other teachers from Mombasa, and I feel celebrated. So this global forum for me makes us feel valid, makes us feel valued, because I remember when I was told to become a teacher, I felt like it wasn't the profession that I wanted that time. But when I saw teachers coming in to take breakfast in the morning, I said how lucky I am to be an educator because I contribute to the society. So thank you so much, Pamela, and for as we teach the others. You remember the Spirit Club? Okay, let's do it to Pamela. Wow. And then do it to yourself also. Yeah, I told you yesterday that you've always got to remember to appreciate yourself because you being here means a lot to everyone. At this point in time, yes, let's clap for ourselves.
Global Forum, we are in the third day. This is the day to look. Global Forum, we are in the third day. This is the day to look to the future, to 2030 and beyond. This is what we're going to be discussing all throughout the day, and this opening panel is just the beginning. But what an opening panel will have. Well, we call it, what if we got it right? How might we best partner with teachers to transform education by 2030 and beyond? And we are very honored to have a wonderful and inspiring group of panelists that I want to invite. But before that, I just want to say good news. Many of you probably forgot your headphones, right? I did. So we will have, you can use your headphones, but we will have simultaneous, we will have online translation when one of our panelists will speak, because the first panelist I want to invite to join is Mamta Kumari. Mamta, please join us. Mamta is a teacher and an innovator from an MS Nargad school in Danapur, India. She'll be talking in Hindi, right? And then we'll have translation, online translation that will be projected and in the boards. Secondly, I would like to welcome Inês Om de Souza, my dear friend Inês. Welcome. Inês is the president of the Santander Foundation in Portugal, and she'll tell us a little bit of the wonderful work she's leading there. Then thirdly, I would like to ask Professor Jane Rarieya to the stage. Professor Jane is the Aga Khan University Interim Vice Provost for Quality, Teaching and Learning, and she's also the Dean at the Aga Khan University Institute for Education Development, and she's based in Dar es Salaam. And last but not the least, I would like to call to the stage Dr. Victor Buindiki. Welcome. Dr. Victor is an Assistant Director for Policy Development Basic Education at the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology in Tanzania. Such a great panel. So join us. We'll have some time for questions later, but now let's start. Is this okay? Yeah, great. So welcome everyone. Mamta, thank you for joining us today. And thank you also for sharing your wonderful innovation that you've been developing in India. And by the way, thank you to all teachers that yesterday presented so beautifully their innovation. Thank you to all. A round of applause for our teachers and innovators. So it's such an honor to have you here with us. And I would like to start with you, and I wanted to ask you, what about teacher professional development? We're going to focus mostly on teacher professional development experiences and key points to further deeper our work in teacher professional development. And I would, as a teacher, I would like to start with you. What is it about teacher professional development courses or experiences that have really enabled you to be a partner in solving complex learning challenges in the classroom? Or in other words, what I'm asking to you is what really works in teacher professional development and what should we be looking for to partner with teachers in teacher professional development?
सबसे पहले तो मैं जो है हमारा जो चैलेंज है उसको लेकर बात करना चाहती हूँ कि किस तरह के चैलेंजेस हम फेस कर पा रहे हैं अपने इंडियन कंटेक्स्ट में। तो हमारा जो मुख्य चैलेंज है वह है बच्चों में ग्रेड लेवल कॉम्पिटेंसी का नहीं होना। बच्चे अपने ग्रेड के अकॉर्डिंग कॉम्पिटेंट नहीं है और इसका मेन कारण है बच्चों में लिटरेसी और न्यूमरेसी का अभाव। लिटरेसी मीन्स रीडिंग विथ अंडरस्टैंडिंग। बच्चे रीड कर पाते हैं बट वो अंडरस्टैंड नहीं कर पाते हैं। और न्यूमरेसी मीन्स नोइंग द नंबर एंड ऑल्सो मैथमेटिकल ऑपरेशन। तो यहाँ बच्चे की मेन चुनौती है, बच्चे इस चीज़ को अंडरस्टैंड नहीं कर पाते अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर ग्रेड। तो अब हम बात करते हैं कि इसके कारण क्या हो सकते हैं। इसके बहुत सारे कारण हो सकते हैं। अगर हम पेरेंट लेवल पर बात करें तो शायद पेरेंट का बच्चों के साथ लेस इंटरेक्शन होता हो या फिर पेरेंट जो है वो बच्चों के साथ टीचिंग लर्निंग प्रोसेस में वो अपना जो भागीदारी देना चाहिए वो नहीं सुनिश्चित कर पाते हो। तो ये बेसिक काउजेज हैं जहाँ ये प्रॉब्लम्स क्रिएट हो रहे हैं। सेकंड, हम अगर टीचर्स लेवल पर बात करें तो शायद यह हो सकता है कि टीचर्स का जो क्लासरूम ट्रांजैक्शन है वह बच्चों के लिए शायद प्रॉपर नहीं है या टीचिंग लर्निंग का जो हमारा प्रोसेस चल रहा है वो बच्चों के अप्रोप्रिएट नहीं है। तो ये कारण हो सकते हैं जिसकी वजह से बच्चों में लिटरेसी और न्यूमरेसी नहीं है। अब हम बात करते हैं कि हमारे जो प्रोफेशनल डेवलपमेंट कोर्सेज होते हैं उनकी, तो गवर्नमेंट के थ्रू हमें 5 डेज की रेसिडेंशियल ट्रेनिंग दी जाती है जो बेसिकली FLN और ICD बेस्ड होती है। चूँकि न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी 2020 FLN को प्राथमिकता देती है ताकि बच्चे का बेहतर भविष्य सुनिश्चित किया जा सके और इसी को लेकर गवर्नमेंट हमें FLN बेस्ड ICT बेस्ड इन सर्विस ट्रेनिंग दे रही है। जहाँ तक हम एजुकेशनल पार्टनर्स की बात करें तो हमारा आगा खां फाउंडेशन, एकलव्य, टाइड फाउंडेशन टीचर्स के प्रोफेशनल डेवलपमेंट पर काम कर रहे हैं और वो हम लोग SCD के थ्रू डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ वर्कशॉप्स और ट्रेनिंग्स के थ्रू हम लोग उसको एक्वायर कर रहे हैं। तो इससे हमारा प्रोफेशनल डेवलपमेंट हो रहा है। अब हम बात करते हैं कि कैसे ये प्रोफेशनल डेवलपमेंट जो है वो जो है कॉम्प्लेक्स लर्निंग चैलेंजेस को सॉर्ट आउट करने में हमारी मदद कर पा रहे हैं। तो जो गवर्नमेंट के थ्रू जो हमारी ट्रेनिंग दी जा रही है उससे कहीं ना कहीं हमारा जो टीचिंग लर्निंग स्किल्स है वो डेवलप हो रहा है, क्योंकि उसमें भी हम लोग एक्टिविटी बेस्ड लर्निंग, प्ले बेस्ड लर्निंग, प्रोजेक्ट बेस्ड लर्निंग को प्रायोरिटी दे रहे हैं। लेकिन जहाँ तक SCD साइकिल की बात है, स्कूल्स 2030 प्रोग्राम ने मुझे सोचने समझने का एक अलग नज़रिया प्रदान किया है। इस SCD साइकिल्स में मैंने बच्चों के कॉम्प्लेक्स लर्निंग चैलेंजेस को फोकस्ड किया है कि आखिर में उन्हें किस तरह की परेशानी हो रही है, और वो जो लर्निंग गैप्स जो आ रहे हैं बच्चों को, उस गैप्स को आइडेंटिफाई करने के साथ साथ उसके सॉल्यूशन पर काम करने में ये मेरा स्कूल्स 2030 प्रोग्राम काफ़ी हेल्पफुल रहा है। तो इसके लिए मैंने सबसे पहले लर्निंग आउटकम्स को फोकस करते हुए एक्टिविटीज़ को डिज़ाइन किया, वेरियस टाइप्स ऑफ TLMs पे फोकस किया और लर्निंग आउटकम्स के लिए उस बच्चों के नीड और इंटरेस्ट के अकॉर्डिंग एक्टिविटीज़ डिज़ाइन की। और इसको मैं उदाहरण से स्पष्ट करना चाहती हूँ। जैसे बच्चे को हम लोग सिंपल जो मल्टीप्लिकेशन देते हैं वो 8 into 9 दे कैन ईजिली सॉल्व बिकॉज दे नो टेबल, सो वो अपने आराम से उसको क्लियर कर पाते हैं। बट जैसे ही हम वर्ड प्रॉब्लम्स में जाते हैं, 1 पेन का प्राइस 8 रुपीज़ है तो 9 पेन्स का प्राइस कितना होगा, शायद बच्चे यहाँ कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं क्योंकि उनके अंदर लिटरेसी नहीं है। तो यहाँ पे हमने डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ एक्टिविटीज़ को इसमें इन्वॉल्व किया। हमने स्टेशनरी स्टॉल लगाकर बच्चों को डिफरेंट स्टेशनरी मटेरियल्स को परचेज करके उनके कॉन्सेप्ट को क्लियर किया। ठीक इसी प्रकार जब हमने एंगल के कॉन्सेप्ट को क्लियर करना था तो मैंने देखा बच्चे सिर्फ डेफिनेशन को याद कर लेते हैं और फिर वो उसी के अकॉर्डिंग उसको सुना देते हैं, लेकिन उनका कॉन्सेप्ट जो है एंगल्स को लेकर, एंगल फॉर्मेशन को लेकर वो क्लियर नहीं हो पाता है। तो इसको लेकर हमने डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ एक्टिविटीज़ सच एज योगाज, बॉडी पोस्चर्स के थ्रू हमने उनको एंगल फॉर्मेशन का कॉन्सेप्ट डेवलप किया। और ये सब पॉसिबल हो पाया प्रोफेशनल डेवलपमेंट कोर्सेज जो हमें गवर्नमेंट के थ्रू मिली और आगा का फाउंडेशन स्कूल्स 2030 के थ्रू मिली, जिसने हमारे माइंडसेट को बदलाव लाया। थैंक यू।
So, I think now we have, yes, we have. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mamta and Kimchi, for the translation. Thank you. Well, Ines, I'm going to pass over to you. And first of all, I want to welcome you to your first Schools 2030 Global Forum and to the whole Schools 2030 movement. We're thrilled to have you here. And I think we should take this opportunity to let everyone know a bit more about the work you're doing in Portugal for education. And what can you tell us about the ways you've been supporting education and teacher professional development in Portugal, and how does Santander Foundation and the organizations you support explicitly partner with teachers?
This is amazing. And thank you very much. I think this is, thank you, right, Andy? Like this. Thank you very much for the invitation. It's an honor for me to be here. I'm a learner. I'm not a teacher. I'm not from education. So I'm here with the expertise of teachers, so I'm very glad to be here. But I want to be a teacher. And I don't know, maybe sometime. I have 8 brothers. And my oldest one is a teacher, and I always tell her, I want to be a teacher, and she always told me, it's very difficult, Ines, you cannot make it. So maybe after 40 years, maybe I'll do it. But I know why, because she didn't know Schools 2030, right? You were not there 40 years ago. So just let me share with you some figures from Portugal. Here in Portugal, 40% of our active population only have the basic level of education. And as you know, half percent of the children, 55% of the children will stay in the same level of education. So here at Santander Foundation, what we want is to change this way of working. We want to contribute that every child should go to the higher level of education and with the right skills, which is the creativity, problem solving, and communication and collaboration. This is our main focus. We are focused on education, but we have only 3 years old. But education is something that is strategic for Santander Group. We invest in education for 26 years in all the universities around the world. And so this is our main focus. And we have lots of initiatives to improve the teacher's life. First of all, we don't have teachers, I don't know if you know, but 60%, I know, I think it's the same in most of the country, 60% of our teachers will be retired in 2030. So we will not have teachers for our children, so we need to improve and to get more teachers to Portugal. So one of the main initiatives is we offer scholarships for young students to be a teacher in Portugal. So Santander Foundation pays for the university and give money for them to be in university to be teachers. Second one, tomorrow I am going to offer to give the Global Teacher Prize. So we give a prize to the more inspired teacher in Portugal, and this is the Santander Foundation that does it. We also have several initiatives. We have an Open Academy, which is a platform with more than 200 different courses, and we offer courses to everyone, especially for teachers. Every teachers go there. It's very important to have training, continuous training that we have been talking the last few days. So last year, I think it was last year, around 800 teachers took the AI course, which is very important, as you know, for the future. So we have lots of initiatives, and we are mostly focused in terms of education, how to get more teachers in Portugal, okay, and how do you training continuously. In terms of 2030, we have amazing work with you, Philippe, and the Portuguese team that are here. Our objective is, we have a partner for 3 years, and our objective is to have 1,500 training teachers in Portugal and to scale up the education program that we have with you. And I would love, Andy, to have more initiatives with you, with Aga, because I really amazed what I've heard during these 3 days what are you doing in the different countries? And I was here also with the teachers yesterday, and I was really very inspired. But so, Andy, next time, next year, I'll be here as a teacher, Portuguese teacher, to share my...
Thank you so much. We're just starting this path together. Thank you so much. So, Professor Jane, among friends, right? Thank you so much for joining us today. The Aga University delivers both teacher professional development and research. It might be wiser to start with research, right? Okay. So, my first question to you is, what does the global research say about how can teacher professional development providers, also researchers, governments, support agency and leadership for solving, teacher agency and leadership for solving complex educational challenges? In other words, what does the evidence say about what works to get this right?
Thank you very much, Philip. Good morning, everyone. I first want to say that I'm first and foremost a teacher, and I mean it in every sense of the word. I am in the trenches with the teachers. I think there are a number of people in the room here who can vouch for that. I work with the teachers in their classrooms. I've had people question and tell me, why do you go to the classroom at this level? Why are you doing this thing? But it's about the very same thing that we're talking about, the agency and the leadership that I got when I got the right professional development and support that I wish to see being given to our teachers elsewhere. So let me just talk about what research says. Global research is very clear. It underscores the importance of collaborative partnerships when trying to develop agency and leadership in teachers. And we can do this in various ways. The first thing is that if we are going to build, what research says, if you're going to build agency, we must also work at sustaining that agency. So we have to give teachers the opportunity to engage and for the opportunity to have their professional autonomy and create environments where they can experiment and innovate, because that's something that you clearly do not get in most schools. Teachers normally find it hard to take risks because there's so much rigid structure in the school. So that's one way. The other thing is to encourage the teachers to engage in collaborative inquiry with the researchers, with the teacher professional development providers, with their peers, etc. So collaborative research in this case could be the action research that teachers actually engage in. And I think that gives them lots of opportunity to reflect about what they're doing, which is a very good thing. I think the third thing for teachers that can help, what research says, is building partnerships, strategic partnerships that enable the teachers to be involved in co-designing the teacher professional development program. You see, like Mumtaz here says, she went, the government gives them this 5-day course, but then there are particular needs in her class, which she has found that Schools2030 has helped her to address. So what we are being told through research is that get the teachers to be engaged in co-designing, then they own it, and they will definitely implement it, and that also helps to develop the agency. I think I could also say leadership, having effective teacher leadership. Yesterday, somebody mentioned that we talk about leadership, but leadership is just not positional. True, because if we're going to talk about effective teacher leadership, then the teachers must be enabled to influence not only their peers, but also influence policy and influence practice right beyond their classrooms. And so we need to put in place leadership models in our schools where teachers are supported and are enabled to be leaders, to lead teacher professional developments within their own schools. And we can see a lot of that happening. I've seen that happening being initiated in Tanzania. We've seen it in South Africa. I've seen it in Kenya. I think the Education Trust Development did create something like that. And finally, I'd like to say that the government also plays a very big role here by providing the right policy and environment. That if the government ensures that there is an environment where teacher-led innovation and etc. can influence educational approaches and strategies, then that gives and develops the teacher agency, right? And also, if there's just one thing I forgot to mention, that teacher development, and again, I'm going to link it to what Montez said, it should be long-term and job embedded. This one-stop, one pit stop approach to teacher development, where we just run one workshop and then think that teachers have now understood, is a great mistake. What needs to happen is that if we really want that agency to develop, it must take a period of time. I think I'll stop there. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Go ahead. Maybe you want to join. I think Jane will talk more about what they're doing, and maybe you can join. Thank you, Jane. And now I would like to turn to Dr. Windiki. So welcome. It's an honor to have you here. In Tanzania, the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology is responsible for overseeing and developing policies related to education, science and technology, and innovation. And I've heard that your ministry has been leading a wonderful program, has been designing and delivering a national continuous teacher professional development program called MIWACA. Is that right?
Yes.
Does anyone know MIWACA? Yes. Well, what can you tell us about MIWACA and how does it really elevate teachers as partners in their own learning together with local and regional governments?
Okay. Thank you. Good morning. Shalom. Praise the Lord. Assalamu alaikum. Well, first of all, I would like to thank God for being here, for being accorded this opportunity to be part of this conference for the first time. But secondly, I would like to express my sincere thanks for being given this opportunity to be here on behalf of our permanent secretary from the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology. The invitation was sent to our professor, Nombo, who is the permanent secretary for the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, but due to other activities, she was not able to be here today. But as a teacher, because I have been in the industry since 1992, serving as a teacher, but later I worked as a school quality assurance officer in different regions in Tanzania. And at the time I worked as a head of department at the district level. I understand that teachers are the key players in our in addressing our development challenges in Tanzania. After independence, our father of the nation, Mwalimu Nyerere, declared three major challenges in our development program. The first one is ignorance, but the second is disease, and the last one is poverty. So through the through the implementation of the curriculum in Tanzania, teachers have been taken to be the centers of development. As teachers, we have been prepared to be the facilitators, to help the kids, the pupils, to develop to their full potentials, to develop cognitively, effective domain, but also to develop physically and socially. So in this way, the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology have prepared a framework, which we call it MEWAKA. In Kiswahili, it is known as Mafunzo Endelevu ya Walimu Kazini. In English, it is known as Teachers' Continuous Professional Development. This framework started to be implemented in the year 2022. We started with the primary school teachers. So with these teachers, we have two platforms. At the school level, where we normally have internal quality assurance team having the duty to visit some of the lessons, teaching and learning activities within the school. Every week for 1 hour, having visited or attended different subjects. Normally the team have time to come together and discuss different teaching and learning challenges which have been observed in particular subject. Because the program needs to be attended subject-wise. Not all subjects have been discussed in a single day. In each day, you have a single subject which the school quality assurance team have seen the teaching and learning process. They come together and discuss the way how the teacher who was involved in teaching, they come out with the challenges and the strength in order to see to it that the particular teacher is doing well in the next session. And from the school level, teachers have opportunity to meet once in a month in a particular school which is known as is given what is given a task to host different different teachers from different schools within a ward in order to discuss those issues which were not solved during the school level session. So in doing this, we have seen that teacher gets time in doing this, we have seen that teacher gets opportunity to learn from different teachers, colleagues on how to approach different topics which to them seem to be maybe to have challenge in facilitating in their respective schools. So having these school level meetings and the cluster level meetings, reports are being sent to the district level as well as regional and national level in order to create modules which help teachers to make a reference on how best to address their day-to-day teaching and learning challenges. And through the Tanzania Institute of Education, which is based in Dar es Salaam, they have prepared what we call online learning system, where teachers from different schools can access and get materials in order to furnish them on how best to address different teaching and learning activities. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bwindiki. Such an inspiring example, such a well-articulated system based on feedback loops, so wonderful. So I'll get back to you right on, but because I heard other good things about your work, but I just want to jump to Jane again, and based on this wonderful experience you just heard, I would like to pass the word to you as well, because Aga Khan University is also a teacher professional development, delivers teacher professional development in very different ways. So I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more, what are you doing, and maybe share some examples on how are you delivering teacher professional development, and how are you partnering with teachers in that process?
At the IED, that's the Institute for Educational Development, where I am, we work with teachers. They're very central to what we do. We're all about teachers. And one of the things that we do, and what research actually says is one of the best practices, is that we collaborate with teachers in doing research. So we're big believers in action research, because it's amazing how we see teachers transformed just by them engaging in that kind of inquiry and seeing the changes that it makes for them. And through action research also, they get to reflect quite a lot about what they're doing, why they're doing it, and what's the impact. And through that, then you see, they become very independent. They're able to have a philosophy for their teaching, which is very, very important. Now, the other thing is, even in our other regular research as academics, we still consult teachers. If we're researching about teachers, I'm a firm believer, for example, that, and somebody mentioned it yesterday, I can't remember, you just can't go and, in our context, and just extract from, let's say, the teachers. You have to give back to them. So giving back to them is, for example, engaging them, but at the same time sharing the outcomes of the research with them and seeing their responses to that. So we firmly believe in that at the IED, and we do that with the teachers. The other thing is, in our teacher professional development programs, we do not have, I can say that they are part of it, so they can be able to own it. The other third thing that we do is try to ensure that the professional development program just does not end with this face-to-face workshop that we may have or an online, but we do follow-ups so that it is continuous, ongoing, and constantly engaging the teachers and thinking about their teaching. So those are some of the things. And then the last one is something like what we are seeing here today, and that's the multi-stakeholder platforms. These are very, very crucial. When you bring the teachers together with the government, for example, the teacher professional developers, the researchers, there's a whole good mix that goes on that has been going on, for example, in this forum. There's a lot of learning, and that's what we also then do. And I want to finish by saying, because this is a very weak area for us in our part of the world, we at the Aga Khan University deliberately publish the work that we do with the teachers. We think it's so important to get that out because it will make our work be known globally and be shared out there. And when we publish with the teachers, we make sure we acknowledge the teachers so that the teachers also feel very proud and recognized for the work that they do. Thank
Wow,
you.
thank you. Thank you, Jane, thank you. Of course, go ahead.
I don't know if the micro, okay. I think what Jane said, it's really very important for us, and I speak for myself because I don't know nothing about education. I just trust Aga Khan Foundation. For me, it was a surprise. Why don't we take the package for Kenya and for Afghanistan and put in Portugal? And for me, understanding that this must be a co-creation with the teachers. For me, it was because at Santander we had just put this in different geographies, so it was very difficult to understand. And now I understand why we need to co-create with the teachers the program for each of the countries, and it's been an amazing. So I totally agree with you, Jane.
Wow, thank you, Ines. Thank you. I'll get back to you in a second, but I just wanted to pass the word again to Dr. Bwindiki because, as I said, I heard wonderful things about your work. And one of the things I heard is that you recently hosted the governments of Malawi, Zambia, and Zimbabwe on a learning visit to share your success on how the national governments of the in education sector. So congratulations on that. And drawing from that experience, my question to you is if you could share some of the advice you would give to other governments actors to ensure meaningful and strong partnerships with teachers to improve learning in the classroom.
Thank you for the question. Maybe before I respond, I need to correct on the issue of my profile. I am not a doctor. But thank you for
You're a teacher, right?
addressing me that way. I'm just a,
That's a Portuguese thing.
yeah.
Everyone is a doctor there.
Well, I am a teacher, having master's degree in development geography from University of Oslo, Norway. So, before I respond to your question, it's true. In Tanzania, we have reviewed our educational policy, our education and training policy, 2014 version 2023, together with the curriculum. And we did receive delegates from Malawi, and I happen to be one of the members who took those, who invited those delegates and accompanied them to different offices and schools in order to share best practices which we are undertaking in our country. The good thing in our implementation of the reviewed curriculum that we are now having a compulsory basic education for 10 years from standard 1 to, we call it level, where a kid or pupil start